Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and in sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayath of Obadiah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Excuse me there. It's a little late. I'm getting a little tired, but I'll go ahead and put together this lesson for you. There's a little video here. It's about 12 minutes and 40 seconds long. In the midst of them, I pull some scripts out, and Lord willing, let it be edifying unto the body and to those that are new coming in, listening and learning with all sincerity. So here we go.
Adversity makes you smart. Adversity makes you a better leader. It's probably the most important thing because we're going into some very, very adverse times. I do this because it's proof I said it, if you know what I mean. Because everybody now is a prophet. The biggest stock market crash in history is still coming. And I'm going to change the title to It's Here. This is the biggest crash we'll ever see in our lifetimes. It's called the everything bubble. Everything's going to come down. And that's how you can prepare for it. So for most people, that's bad news. But as I was saying last night, crashes, everything goes on sale. And you can't get rich at that time. You know, like right now I'm in hog's heaven because Saks is always having sales. I'm in there shopping. But the most important thing this country and the world needs, as you know, Europe's in trouble. They don't think the EU is going to make it. China's in trouble. Japan's in serious trouble. The world's in trouble. It's in trouble because of lack of leadership. And as president.
So, as you just heard the man, a lack of leadership. When you don't have leadership, you don't have order. And if you don't have order, everything's just completely just whack. All right, so look at this gonna be this is gonna be the book of Proverbs. This is gonna be Proverbs chapter 11. Excuse me, Proverbs chapter 11, verse 14. And it says, where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Okay? So if there's no counsel, in other words, if there's no leadership, you know, the people will fall. And as you can see with America, aka Babylon, you know, the people in high places, yeah, they're wicked rulers, but, you know, their leadership, their role as being in, you know, that role of leadership, you know, it's done nothing but cause grief, you know, lies, betrayal, iniquity, etc. This place doesn't have true leadership, and it never will. And let's see here. This is going to be Slovakia. It's going to be the book of Proverbs again, the 29th chapter, verse 2. And it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So, alright, so right now we know that the wicked are in authority, so the people are in a state of mourning right now. And you know, with this up and coming thing with you know, bank runs, the financial collapse, and so on and so forth, you know, this might be the time where all hell may break loose this summer, or who knows. But just know that you know, that's how the wicked gets down. You know, they create a problem. It goes public. The people are afraid. They come with the solution, and the people go to them for the answer. So, you know, this whole thing, it's just And not only that, but the people that we have ruling, they're weak. They make poor decisions that cause the people that they are supposed to be ruling over, to suffer, whether it be financially, medically, so on and so forth. All right, let's continue.
John Kennedy said leadership and learning go hand in hand, basically. I'm here to serve those who serve. We need more leaders, ladies and gentlemen, but this country sorely lacks leaders. I'm not Republican or Democrat, but I just can't believe what's going on in our government. I mean, how can they open the borders? How can they cut off the Keystone XL pipeline? How can this guy blame Russia, President blame Ukraine and Russia for our problems? We have food shortages. Sri Lanka, which is the richest island nations in the world, is in rioting right now. So we need leaders. This is the time for you to become bigger leaders, because I think people are kind of waking up that maybe it's our leadership that's the problem.
Yeah, the leadership of this country is the problem. This is Proverbs again. It's going to be this chapter 29, verse 4. And it says, the king by judgment establisheth the land, but he that receiveth gifts overthroweth. So those who let's see, okay, let me read that one more time. The king by judgment establisheth the land, but he that receiveth gifts overthrow it. I'm talking about bribery. Okay? Through the act of bribery, he can destroy a nation, destroy the land. Okay? Doing backhand deals, IOUs, and all that other stuff. Because this society is based on nothing but lies. And a society cannot stand on lies. It will not endure. It has to be 100% truth all around. All right, this is Proverbs again. It's going to be chapter 29, verse 12. And it says, if a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. So if you have a ruler that's, that hearkens unto lies, deception and iniquity, how do you think the rest of the people are going to be if they follow him? They're going to be no better off. And you can already see that now with this country that we're in. This place is sickening. It's sickening. That's all it is. So let's continue here.
There's a guy named Jordan Peterson who said, if you think tough men are bad, just see the damage a weak leader can do. We've had weak leaders all over the world right now.
So how bad do you think market crash is going to be? How bad, how ugly can it get?
The worst case, which I hope I'm wrong, be civil war inside America. That's more than a crash, it's a civil war. We need new leaders immediately. So the worst it could get is civil war. I think the best we can expect is probably depression. We're already going into it. As I said last night, what we do, we print money to solve our problems. And all that does is increase debt and creates more freeloaders, social welfare. I'm not against social welfare, but don't print money to pay for it. At the same time, our debt escalates. Our debt to GDP right now is 120%. At 90% debt to GDP, we're bankrupt. That means for every dollar we spend, we go deeper in debt right now. So our debt is now in the trillions. I don't know how many trillions it really, I've heard it's 260 trillion. I don't know how they measure it anymore. At the same time, they raise interest rates into a recession. This has never been done before. So that's why I'm saying there's somebody intentionally doing something to bring America down and the world down. And there's a video of Trump speaking to, I think, the United Nations or something, and he's telling the German contingency back in 2018, he says, don't trust the Russians. Don't depend upon the Russians.
All right, get this right here. This is going to be Proverbs 16 and 12. And it says, it is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. So when someone takes the role of leadership, especially over a mass group of people, as I said, the throne is established by righteousness, truth, integrity, morality, good works, good deeds. Okay, you know, and you know, it is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness. And we're living in an abominable land under an abominable king. In verse 13, it says here, righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaketh right. So, what can we say about Joe Biden? There are no righteous lips in that man, and I don't think a lot of people love him because he doesn't speaketh right. Okay. Let me get to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 23. And it says, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. Okay. So, because these heathens, but mainly Esau, Edom, since, you know, the rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. And because of his actions, you know, because he rejected Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, he hath been rejected. He has been rejected from being king. Okay. So if you reject the Lord, you'll never be a righteous ruler. Okay. You have to submit yourself, to humble yourself before the Lord. Okay. I mean, you know, this is a. You know, the state that this country is a primary example of what I'm just reading and when the scripts I've gone over. This is just this, in this video here, it's just a prime example of, you know, where America is and where it's headed. Let's continue.
And now Russia can cut off their power. So there's something really goofy going on. I'm not privileged to find out about it. I just want to put some fear into you, because the more dangerous the mission, the better you've got to be. I talked about last night how, you know, when I was preparing to go to Vietnam, was a Marine helicopter gunship pilot. Our life expectancy was 30 days. 30 days. Now, most people said that's not good. I said, well, it inspired me to become a better pilot.
How does a person who has zero influence over the market, no control over interest rates at this phase of their life, how do they properly make the right moves to still be effective where the market's going to go good, bad, or ugly?
Stock markets, when they crash, go down in 3 phases. Boom, boom, boom. Phase 1 was bounce. It was called a bear market rally. This is going down, I hope, because I'm going to get richer. See, the thing right now is if you're afraid, it's because you got bad advice in your head. You're operating on bad information from your mommy, your daddy, your college professor, your school teacher, whatever it is. I get stimulated thinking about a crash. Because I'll say it again, the tougher it is, the smarter you've got to be. And then it's your skill set. I'll tell you a quick story. When I came back from Vietnam, I said to my rich dad, I said, I want to be an entrepreneur like you. He says, well, you got to take sales lessons, 2 classes, to take real estate courses, which I did, and you have to learn how to sell. I said, I don't learn how to sell because my poor dad always says salesmen were scum. That was my poor dad. That's why he's a PhD. Poor, helpless, desperate. He was a great father, but he was a poor man. So finally, I kept arguing with my rich dad. I said, I don't want to learn how to sell. And finally, rich dad said to me, he says, you know, I'm 25, 26 years old, prime of life, you know, Marine, all this stuff. He says, how's your life, Robert? Non-existent. He says, because you can't sell. This time it's different. This is the new economy. We are just coming out of the longest bull run in history, 11 years. Started in 2011. And in 2011, I made the biggest fortunes of my life because that was the MBS, mortgage-backed securities, and the CDO crashes, the real estate crashed, and I backed up the truck, and I borrowed $300 million to buy the best real estate all across the Southwest. This is the largest, longest bull market in history. I look at some of these young kids, you know, and I own some Bitcoin, I own some Ethereum. but they're all saying the same thing. This time it's different, and Bitcoin's crashed. And, the Federal Reserve Bank, I can't believe that. I mean, people say, don't fight the Fed and all this. Well, my question to everybody is this: can the Fed print oil? Can the Fed print gasoline? Can it print food? But everybody sits there and they've been brainwashed by Wall Street to go, do as the Fed tells you to do. Well, you gotta be kidding me. Those guys are the three stooges, Janet Yellen, Biden, and Powell. You gotta be kidding me. Why would you listen to it? Volcker saying it's gonna crush, so he raised interest rates, right? So Powell is now channeling the spirit of Volcker. And when Volcker crushed inflation, debt to GDP was 30%. And today it's 125% if you believe the numbers. And so if you channel Volcker, and the other thing about history will tell you this: there's never been a soft landing. It's more Fed talk. I've made more money in the last 3 years in my whole life. And so that's what I want to talk about with you today, is that there's other ways of looking at investing, but to think that Powell is going to save you, when, as you may know, the reverse repo market is running at $2 trillion a day today. Right. $2 trillion a day. And people are listening to Powell? You got to be kidding me. I own no stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. I do not touch paper. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I say people have been brainwashed by the Fed, the Treasury. Go to school, get a job, pay your taxes, get a high-paying job, and invest for the long term in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. It was in 1974 when I came back from Vietnam, a two-tour Marine helicopter pilot. I saw communism at work. It was not pretty. And I come back in 1974, they passed ERISA. ERISA stands for 401k right now, or IRA. And I went, oh my God, they're funneling my generation, the boomers, into the stock market. And they don't know anything about money. And in 1974, the biggest exodus was school teachers suddenly becoming financial planners. I watched it in horror. That's the poor leading the blind. And today we have baby boomers who are hoping the stock market stays up in their 401k just as Social Security goes bust. You think that's an accident? That's all I'm saying. I'm just a Marine. I'm a dumbass Marine lieutenant. Flew the gunship, went down 3 times. But today I listen to this bullshit and I go, oh my God, how can we be that stupid? Because we went to school, we did as we're told. Don't fight the Fed, do as the Fed tells you. Invest in long-term, well-diversified portfolio stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. And don't worry, Powell is now channeling Volcker. When the debt to GDP is 120%, you gotta be kidding me. So when they were dropping the interest rates, I thought I died and went to heaven because I buy apartment houses. I own 13,000 apartment houses. Every time the Fed dropped the interest rates, it jacked the value of my properties up, but I also improved the properties and I refinance out. So today I own no money in any of my properties. 13,000 units, all throwing cash. They said in a bull market, even idiots feel smart. I'm listening to all these idiots, after 2011, the market crashed in 08 because the repo market went bad.
All right, I'm gonna get the book of Isaiah, and as this man says, as things get tougher, you gotta be smarter and you gotta get better. So I'm going to get the book of Isaiah. It's going to be chapter 33, verse 6. And it says, Thy wisdom and knowledge, Thy wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of the time. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of the times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Okay? Okay, so let me see here. Let's see. The reason why I bring up this scripture is because, like he just said, the tougher things get, the smarter you got to be. And, he's right, because we're going to be coming into some really hard times here real soon, Lord willing. And, when these things start happening, we got to be using the scriptures, man. This is our wisdom. This is our smarts, I mean, not to say that, not to say that you can't use your worldly skills to help you maneuver in certain times and places. No, you can still do that, but, you just got to rely on the scriptures because they are what's going to help you get through whatever trial that the Lord has set for you. In verse 7, it says, Behold, their valiant ones shall cry without. The ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. In verse 8, the highways lie waste, the wayfaring man seetheth, he hath broken the covenant, he hath despised the cities, he regardeth no man. So, when we read verse 7, behold, the valiant one shall cry without, the ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. So, these people, you know, you can say that they're top officials, or they're folks, they're people. They're going to, they're going to be in a state of mourning, because think about it. Once everything just goes to once everything goes to shit, what are they going to do? They can't do nothing. And I was watching a Canadian prepper, and he said the price for gold has gone way up to where you won't be able to afford it. So it's like they're making it to where paper is going to be useless and gold can't afford it. So what's the point? In verse 8 it says, the highways lie waste, the wayfaring man ceaseth, he had broken the covenant. And who has broken the covenant? Esau Edom. He hath despised the cities, and he regardeth no man. So Esau Edom, he's purposely getting this system to crash, and he doesn't give a damn about who goes, as long as he gets what he wants and he stays in power. The wayfaring man ceaseth. Of course, there's not going to be no one, passing by to sell, no merchants, no nothing. It's just survival. And in that time, you got to rely on Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai. In a spiritual sense, and in a worldly sense, you got to use your skills that the Lord had you in the world, learn. This is, a lot of stuff is going to be happening in these last days. I'm going to get and the reason, let me get Isaiah chapter 30, verse 12. And it says, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and to destroy the way of thy path. So, yes, children are oppressors, and those children is talking about Esau Edom, because he is nothing but a child. He's immature, undisciplined. He's wrecked this world, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to fix it. He doesn't know how to do anything right. And it also goes for, children in the household, rebelling against the parents and all that. And women rule over them, because women have been given that authority in this society. But, aside from that, this type of behavior causes our people to go off and to do the wrong thing. And the way of thy paths, they cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths, man. This society has done nothing but lead us down the road to destruction. That's why we need to get out of here. This place is not for us. All right, I'm going to get the book of Exodus. This is going to be the book of Exodus, chapter 18. Excuse me. Exodus, chapter 18, verse 21. And it says, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear the Most High, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, and rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So it shall be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burdens with thee. Verse 23, if thou shalt do this thing, and the Most High command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure, and all those people shall go to their place in peace. Okay, so to have order, you need to have people who are not just mentally, emotionally, and spiritually capable, but those that fear the Lord and are men of truth. There's no guile in their tongue, no lies, nothing hidden. Can't, digging up dirt on them. They haven't done nothing behind the scenes. You want people who have integrity, discipline, And most of all, you want them to have the truth, hating all lies, deceit, and anything that's wicked. They stand up for what is right. Those are the kind of people that you want to have, and those are the kind of people that we ought to be. Because in the kingdom, we're going to be those able men, Lord willing. Rulers of thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens, which means we're going to be ruling over a lot of people. We're going to be setting the example of how these heathen nations are to really be. Okay, we got to set the example. And judge in all matters of seasons, where, and every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge, meaning that they should handle their own little small matters. And it shall be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burdens of with thee. And we're going to, when the time comes, Lord willing, that we're of the elect, we're going to establish righteousness. And, these other heathen nations are going to get in line, and we're going to enforce the biblical law of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And if they don't comply, well, you settle it right then and there. All right. Let me see. This is gonna. We'll close out with this, and then we'll watch the rest of the video. It's gonna be actually. Come on. This is gonna be the book of Titus, chapter 1, verse 7. For a bishop must be blameless as the steward of the Most High, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre, but a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, temperate. Okay, so in order to be put in a position of leadership, you have to have that self-control. You have to know when to, you got to have a balance between, you got to be patient, and you got to have that discipline to know how to handle certain situations and certain people, And America has had a steady line of people that would rather use underhanded tactics to stay afloat, and that's not the way you do things.
Market is the credit of Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns was bad. So they hammered Bear, and it's a long story. My friends are all inside that world. But then when it came back out, they just started pumping money. And what they did was they kept printing more money to save a bad economy. It was already crashing again in 2011, but they kept printing money. And today we're going to pay that price. I use debt because debt is tax-free money. What I did was I rehabbed my apartment, 13,000 of them. I just kept buying more with the cash flow. And I refinance out as interest rates drop. So I'm in good shape now. Then I set all interest rates right now. So I use debt. And who's that guy that says live debt free? Well, that's his opinion. I don't do that. I don't flip houses. Remember all those guys were flipping? Well, everybody got it. No, they were stupid. Stupid. When the moment you flip, you have a tax consequence. I never flip. I finance out as tax-free money. Not only that, is when I started investing, I had to invest at 12% interest rate. I like debt, and I don't pay taxes. Because every time I borrow more money to float my properties, there's 3 types of tax breaks, like appreciation, depreciation, and amortization. So I zero out. So my cost of money my tax on debt is 0, and I use that to offset tax in my income. So when Biden took the Keystone XL pipeline off, my oil I was selling from the ground, which is a tax break also, went from $30 a barrel to $130 a barrel. Today it's like $120. Oh my God, this guy Biden's going to bankrupt us. I'm not saying him, but there's somebody who wants to bankrupt because oil is the lifeblood of civilization. I worked for Standard Oil of California as a tanker officer when I graduated from school. I understand oil. I was on the Alaska pipeline and all this. I'm like, he's screwing us. So when he raises inflation, the poor and middle class will go broke. And that was just done as soon as he was being done before he took office. And so I'm looking at this. This guy's going to sell America down the drain. I'm not saying it's him, but somebody wants us to go broke. And I'm watching this going, oh my God. So what else can so I have oil wells. I get tax breaks for those because I don't invest in oil stocks. I work for Standard Oil, but I don't invest in Standard Oil. I invest in the oil in the ground. I'm a wildcatter. Everybody says don't do it. I don't recommend it, but I like doing it. The gold mines don't do it. I like doing it. There's more opportunity today than ever before, but not if you've been brainwashed into going to school, getting a job, paying taxes, live debt free, and invest in the stock market. This bubble right now is a bigger bubble than 2008. This is the everything bubble. You know, it's going to be not only stocks, bonds, but also credit. I mean, but there's more opportunities going to come out of it. And that's what I'm saying. Be careful who you listen to, because your best asset, but also your biggest liability, are the ideas in your head. And
all right, 2 more scripts. This is Ecclesiasticus, chapter 39, verse 26. The principal things for the whole use of a man's life: water, fire, iron and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing. Okay, the basic necessities of life. But here in this society, you know, Esau Edom and his technology and the way he does things, you know, he just, you know, by constantly drilling up oil from underneath the earth, you know, and the oil is the lifeblood of the earth. And the more you take away and use it, like, for, you know, for whatever means, you know, why do you think what do you think oil really what do you think oil really does in the ground? It keeps the earth from within, underneath the surface, lubricated, because without that oil, that causes something called fracking, which Amman Abad said in one of his videos. And what that does is it causes the plates underneath the earth to, you know, collide together, causing earthquakes. So by taking more and more oil out, you're causing more, you know, earthquakes. And you could look it up for yourself if you don't believe me. But yes, like, Esau Edom has given us to the point where he's given us one too many choices to choose from in this so-called comfort of life that he's given us, when it's nothing but a big lie. And he's able to, you know, gradually indoctrinate people into relying on him, and instead of being, you know, self-reliant and using, you know, this society has made us, you know, has made people weak, decadent, ignorant, so on and so forth. This place is just absolutely horrible. This is going to be the book of 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 2. Feed the flock of the Most High, which is among you, taking the overnight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. So you do this not for the sake of yourself or the sake of money, but you do this of a ready mind, you know, with a mind, and, you know, that's sound, disciplined, and focuses on the word here. Verse 3 says, neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock, meaning we are to lead by example. Okay? If we are the true leaders, we must do it with integrity. We must do it with integrity and truth. Verse 4, and when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. So, again, you know, when all hell breaks loose, will you be able to maintain your integrity while all this hell is happening? That's going to be the ultimate test. Will you maintain your integrity in that day? Okay? So, once again, weak leadership causes a society to fall, and that's what America is, man. So, I hope that this lesson was edifying unto the body, and to those that are new coming in, listening and learning with all sincerity. I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayatha Dabada, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations, okay? You know, like I said before, You know, the society is. We ain't got too much. We ain't got too much time left in this place. You know, the sooner it goes down, the better. You know. Yeah, it's time for this place to go. It's nothing but pure poison all around. All right. Kwame Yasharala, Wa Baba Bal, Shalom, Barakatham.